I have never worn a pair of turf boots. I have worn a lot of pairs of AG boots, but never have I worn turf boots until now. I don't know why that is. I still even believe that until really recently, but I figured I'm playing in a travel boarded league now. I'm gonna be wearing a lot more turf boots most likely, and there's almost no reviews on turf boots at all on YouTube. So what a better opportunity than for me to jump into wearing turf boots. You've read the title, so you know this is the Nike Tiempo Legend Pro TF, Nike's turf model of the Tiempo. They also have a less expensive model. I believe it's called the Club TF. This Pro TF model here retails at $140. I think I got them 100-ish off of Nike.com. They're always having all sorts of deals and sales. So I paid a little bit under retail, which is always a good thing. If we talk about the upper of this Tiempo here, it has a one-piece knit upper. Now, I don't think it's the top end knit that they put on all of their elite boots. I believe it is just the Pro edition, so their second tier knit that they usually have in most of their boots. But I still thought it was decent. It felt just like any other knit upper, but the problem was early on it ripped. So it's a little bit hard to see here, but there's a rip here, and I'm sure you'll get some extra footage over top of it. But that was the first day putting them on, and they immediately ripped. I don't really know what caused this. I just put them on, so it must have just been a factory defect or something like that, and I just missed it, or this upper is just really fragile. Even so, with that tear, I still felt this upper pretty elastic. The right boot did not have that issue at all. It was only the left boot with the tear, so I'm gonna consider it a factory issue or just kind of a defect that sometimes happens, unfortunately. But it wasn't enough for me to send the boot back because I just didn't want to wait that long. But other than that, the Flytouch Pro upper is definitely different from the Plus. So the Flytouch Plus, which is on their Elite Nike Tiempo 10. And I have a couple pairs over here. If I grab this one, I believe it's the like prototype one they had, or the Blueprints one. The Flytouch Plus feels a lot more grippy. It doesn't feel like the grip knit, but it feels there's a bit more to it on the upper itself. Now, with the Pro version of the Flytouch, it definitely feels softer and it feels more cushiony. Now, this is going to be a closer feel to leather, yes, but it's a synthetic leather and feels a lot more like Kangolite than anything else. I know that there's been some speculation that the Tiempo Legend 10 Pro versus the Elite FG versions are basically the same boot. They're not, I can promise you that. I did say that the Pro version doesn't feel like leather, but that doesn't mean it's bad. Even though this Pro version does not replicate leather, it's still nice. There is a lot of padding in the toe box up here, and it felt that it kind of gave me a little bit better of a first touch, or at least a bit more cushion when taking a ball out of the air. But overall, this upper performed very, very well. So the turf boots surprised me a lot. I was not expecting this, and I know there's a reason why Nike and all these other brands make turf boots, and it's so you can wear them on 2G, 3G pitches or badly kept pitches that you can't even wear AG boots on. I get it, but still, for some reason, I thought I could just get away with wearing futsal boots the whole time. However, now I'm gonna have some difficult decisions to make because I really enjoyed wearing this on those turf pitches. It provided so much more grip. I was actually able to defend properly. I often feel when playing futsal or when playing on a bad pitch when you're wearing futsal boots that you have to move your body a little bit differently. You can't fully commit into cutting or defending or attacking. You have to kind of recruit different muscle groups, especially in the adductor region. And using this sole plate, I did not have to do that at all. So that was really nice. I felt I could fully try to explode out or cut really hard, or, you know, just defend properly without having to worry about slipping. Will I continue to wear flats on turf? I really don't know. I think if I can find a really nice pair of turf boots that I like to wear and that I can wear for a long time, I might end up switching to that. And what's also nice is there's a little bit of extra foam on top of that turf rubber outsole. I don't know the name of this type of foam. Nike hardly puts any tech specs on their websites anymore, but for the most part, I found it to be pretty comfortable, and it really helped negate a lot of that extra force when you're doing a lot of heel striking. Was this boot comfortable? I would say yes. The break-in time was very limited. It was probably an hour, and that was mostly 20 minutes on, my feet were hurting me, take them off, let my feet relax a little bit, put them back on, so on and so on. So about an hour, I would say. After that, the rest of the time putting this boot on got a lot easier. And I will say this cushion in the toe box here that I mentioned earlier is very, very nice. I found it to be super comfortable when striking a ball, when taking a touch out of the air, everything like that. And even the padding that is in the kind of heel area here, in the heel liner, it's not too thick and it's not too thin. I would say it's just about right. It feels very, very similar to the heel padding that's in the Elite versions on the FG boots. For those of you wondering if I like the synthetic leather feeling over regular leather feeling, my answer is no. I'm always gonna go with leather. It's just always more comfortable. I really wanna do the indoor version of the Copa Mundial soon because I have a real opportunity to wear them a lot and they just look so class. So I wanna get the all white version of that. But regardless of this not being leather, it was still comfortable, it was still soft, it was still plush, it was fairly responsive when touching the ball, and it really felt comfortable. If you're worried about being uncomfortable in these boots, I wouldn't worry. 9 US worked perfectly for me. That's what I wear in every single Nike boot, so whatever your normal Nike size is, whether it's the Vapor, Tiempo, Phantom GX, Phantom Luna, whatever, you should be just fine getting your normal size. Now, for wide feet, this was a little bit of an issue when first breaking them in. That was where most of my pain was when breaking them in. So along this entire outer area here, but that went away. It stretched out pretty decently. It is a synthetic leather or a fake leather, so it's supposed to imitate that stretching. And I think it did for the most part. So that's also something you don't have to worry. So the durability on these boots is pretty great, I would say. I've only worn them for probably 8-ish hours or less, which is not ideal for me personally when talking about durability. But I feel like that is the inappropriate amount of time to where you can see whether or not the boot's gonna actually rip or is ripping. And I've seen none of that. The entire outsole looks intact. The toe box has absolutely no separation. There's no real marks in terms of like cuts or gouges on the upper either, so that's good. I'm not sure if I'll be wearing these boots anymore outside of an occasional team practice, but I know I'll have them for a very long time. So a lot of the footage, if not all, was shot on an 11v11 field. And personally, I don't think that I would wear a regular turf boot on an 11v11 field unless it was like the pitch I was training and shooting all the footage on. That pitch is very badly maintained and there's almost no rubber pellets in it. So for me personally, it makes sense to wear a boot like this. However, if it was an actually maintained and better kept pitch, I would go for something more like an actual AG sole plate, like on this Tiempo 10 Elite boot. But even then, like this could work for that pitch, but that pitch just sucks so bad that you can still get stud pressure from it because it basically just feels like playing on concrete with studs. You can also use a 2G, 3G option as well. This boot did work really well on that 11v11 pitch. But for the most part, I think I'm gonna keep turf to small-sided. I think it's perfect for small-sided because there's a lot of change of direction, and in outdoor, I feel like you just really need better studs. But indoor, these were perfect, and I think they are perfect for that. I know overseas, sometimes guys are wearing turf boots on the artificial pitches, and I even played against a couple guys in college who would wear TF boots on turf. And there's even a couple high schoolers I've seen, and a lot of people are starting to switch to this, which I don't think is bad, but personally, I feel like if it's a better maintained pitch, you're not going to get the traction that you actually need. And you can dig in a little deeper because there's a lot of depth with those rubber pellets. If you were on a pitch like the one I was training on, then you're definitely gonna want something like this. The Tiempo Legend 10 Pro TF was a great boot. The turf sole plate in general was great. I liked it a lot. I felt it was really anything I could have needed. And I'm very excited to start testing turf boots in the future because there's a ton of them. And like I said earlier, there's almost nobody doing reviews on them at all. And if I have an opportunity to wear them and give information for a lot of people, I think it's a win-win in both aspects. That's all I have for you today. If you like this video, please make sure to like and subscribe. There's tons of videos on the channel for you to choose from. And with that, I will see you in the next one.